Are you searching for fulfillment? Discover true happiness. Stay tuned to Shalom World.
Hello and welcome to a time of excitement and inspiration. I am Manoj Sunny, and together with Shalom World, we'll take you through the journeys of a group of ordinary people in the Jesus Youth movement who dared to follow an extraordinary call as a part of the full-time volunteer project. A project that has been instilling the missionary lifestyle in young people for the last 28 years. A project that has put 28 batches of young people, around 2,000 so far, through a 30-day intensive training and placing them in mission centers around the world for a whole year. And that's exactly why they are called God's crazy people. Today, we are going to meet a young missionary priest serving in South Sudan. He was born to Job City and Tresiama Job, raised in the northern part of Kerala, India. He had a personal encounter with Jesus in 1997 and took a totally new turn in his life. He attended the Jesus Youth Full-Timership training in India in 98 and was placed in northeastern part of India, a true tough frontline mission area. Friends, joining us now from Juba, the capital city of South Sudan, Father Shyjan Job. Father, hearty welcome.
Thank you, Manoj.
I read that you had a personal encounter with Christ in 1997. How was it? What was the experience you had?
My first personal encounter with Jesus was in 97. So that was actually through a Jesus Youth program. I went for that program with much doubts in my heart because I was not intending, in fact, to attend that program. But a few full-timers who were there, 2 full-timers, in fact, who were there, they were forcing me to attend that program. Out of their force and insistence, I went. But the first day, it went without much incidents. And the second day onwards, I found there is something from within calling me, and I cannot express what it was. But that experience of someone who is speaking to me from within, that made me to listen to the talks and also to involve fully to that program. But it was a very youth-friendly program. Experiencing that personal presence of Jesus, that made a big difference in my life. And I decided that day I will live for Jesus.
Father, soon after, maybe like within a year time, you have decided to commit one full year through the full-timership project. What motivated you to take the commitment?
My first encounter with Jesus gave me a kind of inspiration to start my daily personal prayer. As I began with my daily personal prayer, that inspired me also to start a small prayer group in the college where I was doing my degree. And that fellowship group also gave me more growth in my prayer life and also that desire to do something for the Lord. From that desire, the full-timer of that time, the 6th batch full-timer, he told me, why don't you give 1 year after your this degree, 1 year you commit for the Lord. And in the Jesus Youth, there is a program called full-timership. And why don't you commit yourself for the full-timership training program and also to commit 1 year to spend with the Lord. So initially, I did not say yes to that, but I thought about it and I have been praying. And after a few months of prayer and discernment, finally, I said, I will commit myself.
Father Shyjan, we have a surprise for you. Joining us now, Father Johnny Epen, SDB, a Salesian priest from Shillong, who's serving as a missionary in northeastern part of India for the last 40 years. At present, he is an associate professor of sacred scripture at the Sacred Heart Theological College in Shillong. Father Johnny was accompanying Father Shyjan during the time of his full-timership. Father Johnny.
In 1998 June, he was brought to Sumswai parish, one of the remotest parishes of the Difu diocese. It is about 48 kilometers from Nelly or from Jaggi Road. He came as a brave, courageous, industrious boy who stayed with me more than a year, and I could say that he is a boy with a determination and goodwill to be a frontline missionary. Shyjan, who is now presently a missionary in Sudan, he proved himself to be a trustworthy, a capable, committed, and fully convinced brother who was capable of doing all his duties to the best of his abilities. He was cheerful, industrious, hardworking, a boy with a strong willpower, committed to his prayer life, and he also was convinced of his vocation to be a frontline missionary. When he came to meet me in Umswa in 1998, I told him that you, as a Jesus youth, committed youth, why don't you commit your whole life in a religious congregation? Therefore, he thought in the Lord for this option to live his life entirely for the mission in the front line in the whole world. And therefore, he was interceding with me for the salvation of the whole world. We had morning adoration from 3 o'clock early morning till 6 o'clock. We had so-called power evangelism. Shyjan, he could adopt this motto of St. Paul, for me to live is Christ and to die is a gain. And he did everything for the glory of God. That point of time, he was very enthusiastic and energetic. And he will call a spade a spade. He will stand for justice and truth. And he was so devoted to the poorest of the poor and the downtrodden. Therefore, he stood up for them, and he will also stand for their truth and for their justice. May God bless his work now in Sudan, especially in Juba, in South Sudan. May his work flourish, and may God grant him prosperity and progress, and may his work bear harvest of hundredfold. May Mother of Jesus, the star of evangelization, be with him all the days of his life.
Thank you very much, Father Johnny Epen, for the beautiful sharing. Father Shyjan, Father Johnny Epen was saying about the way he challenged you to take a lifelong commitment. Okay, let me ask you, about your priesthood discernment. When did you take a decision to go for priesthood?
Yes, as a young boy, I had the desire to become a priest. But as I completed my class 10 and I moved on with my life, along the way, I lost that interest. Not only for the vocation, I lost even my interest in religion and faith and whatever. And that is why I said when in 97, I had that personal encounter with Jesus and I came back to faith. So this experience of then going back to the mission as a full-timer and being in the frontline mission and knowing the need to have priests, more priests in fact, because that mission was a very interior mission which has over 30 sub-chapels. And there are only 3 priests, and these 3 priests have to manage all these 40 plus chapels and going and helping them in the villages for the sacraments and mass. And that experience really made me realize the need for more priests. And then this desire which I had of becoming a priest during my childhood came back. And I started telling Father Johnny about my desire, and he helped me to discern. And in fact, almost 6 months, he accompanied me in different ways. As we were going to the villages, he used to share with me different stories of priests and about the positive and negative sides of becoming a religious or a priest. And that helped me a lot, in fact, because he was not only just encouraging me to become a priest, but he was also telling me what it is meant to become a priest.
I know that during your novitiate time, you faced a very difficult time where 3 of your superiors, your novice master and the administrator and I think there was another brother who was doing his regency there, were shot to death by a group of militants in the seminary. I'm sure that if you would have gone through a time of trauma, pain, maybe hurt, uncertainty, and but you still decided to stay back and remain and continue with the journey. So what was your experience, and why you have decided to continue?
That was actually just 9 days before our profession, religious profession, the end of the novitiate. We were already 1 year in the novitiate. Some militants came and they called out the novice master, the administrator, and the regent brother. And they have been in discussion quite some time, because they came around 6:30, 6:45 in the evening, and they had almost 1 hour of discussion. There was a continuous bullet shots. The gunshots were fired in the playground there. So we were wondering what is happening in fact. And we waited for a few moments. Then our workers who were just outside, they came inside crying. They said the fathers are shot. And that experience was quite shattering for all of us. And it is very painful even now when I think of it. That pain and that feeling is very strong in my mind. But what helped me as this that old Salesian who helped us to understand in a different light this, I realized, yes, they have died, but they died for a cause. Because the workers who came in to tell us about this shooting, they also told us what happened outside. So they were saying that these people were discussing about different things, and at the end, these militants who came, they were asking for all the novices to be brought out. Whatever be their intention, the novice master said no. He said, I cannot call them out. They are small boys and they are seminarians, and they will get scared if they see you with these guns. Whatever you want to tell them, you tell me, I will tell them. So they died. In fact, they were defending us. Otherwise, they could have called us out. And even now, as I'm sitting here, I would not be sitting here today, because they defended us and they died for us. Because of that one reason, our batch, we were 12 of us, we decided that we will not leave. And all of us, we will profess in the Salesian congregation, and we will become Salesians and become priests. And today, as I'm talking to you, we are 10 of us. We are Salesians and we are priests. Only reason which I can find is because our superiors, they are praying for us and they are interceding for us from heaven. And even for me, even now, when there is some serious decisions I have to make, or some serious issues which I face in my life, I always ask their intercessions and their help. Another experience which really touched me most in Father James is what I heard from his sharing about his experience of walking with this militia and the people, and this 1.5 years of this 18 months of his kind of exodus. The moment where he was able to celebrate Mass, that really touched me most, because he was sharing that there was no possibility for celebrating Mass. And what he used to do to celebrate Mass, whenever he wanted to celebrate Mass, he used to take a piece of bread which he gets for the breakfast in the morning. He keeps that one hidingly somewhere. And without the soldiers knowing, if the soldiers see, that is also another problem for him. But without them noticing, he will quietly hide a small piece of bread. And when in the night, when everybody goes to sleep, actually they were all sleeping in a tent together with the soldiers. And he was also sleeping together. Both sides there are soldiers. But as he was lying down there, he will take out this small piece of bread in his hand, and he put that bread on his chest while lying down. And he knew most of the prayers of the Mass by heart. So he starts saying the Mass, and he will consecrate that bread. There was no possibility for him to get any wine or anything, but he will consecrate that bread and he will consume Jesus. So that experience really touched me most, because where even that most difficult moment, he had that courage and that kind of a creativity, I would say, to get Jesus. And he believed that the Lord is the one who is taking him through. and he can do wonders in his life. And that is the reason he was getting energy from this Eucharist, the way he was celebrating. Probably according to the norms of the church, it cannot be called a Eucharist. But in my opinion and my right sense, I would say that that is the best Eucharist anyone can celebrate in that kind of a situation. So, and that is what Father James did. And definitely, I believe that Jesus came and Jesus was in that small piece of bread and he helped him to go through that most painful experience. And he came out victorious.
Father, the final question. What is the message you have for the youth today?
My only one message I have, that message is to tell the youth to find Jesus. Find Jesus as their friend and companion and one who walks with them always. Because why I'm saying this, my life changed because the moment I found him as my friend, one who walks with me. And that is what that can change the young people. Because the moment you realize that Jesus is there and he is, as a friend, he walks with you and he listens to you. He is consoling you when you are in need and also sometimes correcting you and giving you a little tough experiences in life and even tough questions to deal with. That is also part of being a good friend. So the moment we experience him in personal way and able to keep him as a friend, I think every young person will be truly committed to Jesus and to the church.
Father Shyjan, thank you very much for joining us and showing us the beautiful face of the wounded church that goes out on the streets. I pray that God may bless you and may bring completion the good work he began in you. Thank you.
Thank you, Manoj.
Friends, we are talking about a special call, and we are all set to meet a special person who can shed more light on this journey. So here is a special guest for the day. A 1997 batch full-timer, mother of 3 children, a volunteer trainer for several years, and a school teacher by profession, Deba Sabu from India.
With a grateful and a joyful heart, I would like to say that I was blessed to be a full-timer. This one particular year is the greatest asset in my life. I was brought up in Ahmedabad, but my commitment place was at Palakkad. There were times when I had to walk miles. It is because of 2 reasons. Either I missed my bus because I found it hard to read the bus boards, or I was short of cash. There were times when I've craved for my favorite foods, but it did not work out. There were times also when I felt lonely and I missed all my comforts. But I never felt sad, or I never lost any hope. Because I knew that there is somebody up above watching for me, my Jesus. Being associated with the national and international full-timers training, I've noticed a drastic change in an individual's life, not only emotionally, spiritually, or mentally, but their personality changes totally. I've seen many youngsters, boys and girls, who, when they came for the training, were totally reserved. Even they were afraid or even never dared to speak before people or a crowd. But are people today heading organizations? There are many who received a call within their call and are leading fruitful religious life. Many others who are witnessing in their family lives, no matter what struggles they are going through, at their workplace and wherever they are planted. In fact, this training provides you such a platform that wherever you are planted, you just bloom. While we are having our training, we are never asked to do great things, but we are asked to do small little things, but with utmost faithfulness. And that is a challenge. Luke chapter 10:16. Whoever is faithful in smaller matters will be faithful in larger ones. Whoever is dishonest in smaller matters will be dishonest in larger ones. Lastly, all I would like to say is that full-timership is definitely a call. I don't say that it will change you totally or you will be at your best, but this training provides you with the best tool. It equips you to sharpen all the areas of your life. It's one's own choice to use this tool or let it remain unused. Young boys and girls, are you ready to grab this best tool?
Thank you, Deepa, for that beautiful sharing. As you said, full-timership is not about doing great things, but doing small things with utmost faithfulness. And Father Shyjan is one of the best examples for the way in which the Lord blesses those who are faithful and entrusts them with greater things. As Pope Francis points out, the way of the church is precisely to leave her four walls behind and to go out in search of those who are distant, those on the outskirts of life. Not only to welcome and reintegrate with evangelical courage all those who knock at our door, but to go out and to seek, fearlessly without prejudice, those who are distant, freely sharing what we ourselves freely receive. I would like to invite those of you listening to me now, whose hearts have been inspired to leave your four walls like these full-time volunteers. Please get in touch with us. So that's it for today, friends. Let's keep each other in prayer and stay crazy for God until we meet again next week for the same program on Shalom World. Thank you.
To all of the viewers of Shalom TV throughout the world, I want to encourage you not only to support this amazing media apostolate, but to spread the word to others. We all know how the internet and mass media are polluting the world with the poison of pornography and so much other forms of materialism. This is the source of eternal life, the gospel, and Shalom TV is consecrated to spreading the word of Christ. Thank you.